Ah, autumn, my favourite time of year for fragrances. And let me tell you, I've got 10 autumn bangers to recommend to you in this video. Stay tuned. Right, this is a top 10 video. That's what you guys like to click on and that's what YouTube likes to see for its algorithm. These are the top 10 fragrances that I will be choosing to wear this autumn. Not necessarily my top 10 autumn designer fragrances of all time. I'm going to do a separate video for that, an autumn designer all-stars. But in this video, I'm going to go through the fragrances that I will be wearing because there's quite a lot of new ones in here. There's some old classics that I love. But in the last 12 months, there's been some very autumnal appropriate fragrances that I haven't yet been able to wear in the autumn. So that is the basis for the choices I have made in this video. Let's get into it. I mentioned I love autumn fragrances. Why do I love autumn fragrances so much? A lot of the time it's because that's when the booze starts to creep in. Autumn is the time where I like to sit by a roaring fire drinking a whiskey, preferably in a pub or even a castle in Scotland. But when I don't have a Scottish pub or castle just to hand, sitting on the sofa at home is just fine. One of my favourite designer boozy fragrances to wear is a bit of a modern classic. This is CH-Men Privé, comes in this beautiful whiskey hip flask style bottle. This is a warm, spicy, comforting fragrance, bit of creamy vanilla, a dram of whiskey and just a little hint of leather. I love this because it's got nuance, it's got texture, it's also smoothly put together, there's no rough edges to it, it's playful, it's sophisticated, it's just a joy to wear. Extremely mass appealing, despite having boozy notes and spicy notes, it's not too heavy, it remains light enough to wear as a casual daytime scent. Performance is not the best. You'd think with some of these notes, maybe performance would be better with some of these sort of heavier, darker notes, but it's fine. A daytime casual wear, when you want a bit of casual whiskey during the autumn, then CH-Men Privé is a winner. We're going a little darker, a little more complex with this next one, but it is still very mass appealing and extremely easy to wear. Stronger with you, absolutely. Sticking with the booze with this one, this is a strong, smoky, woody chestnut scent with some rum. This is a good example of how a designer fragrance can be designery and mass appealing, but also have some interest, have some texture to it. It's got a beautiful sweetness which works really well in the autumn. The darkness of the chestnut, strong, it's a statement maker. It would work in a club situation, it would work in a casual daytime situation, walking down the street with autumn leaves falling all around you. This is a bit of an autumn cozy scent that is also probably highly likely to get you some positive attention. Now, one brand that is going all in with the Elixir thing at the moment is Boss, and this is one of their elixirs. This is the scent Elixir. Like a lot of these autumn scents, this is a warm, spicy, very sweet, and a little wisp of smoke running through it. Boss have obviously thought, right, what are all our fragrance lines? Let's do an elixir in every line. Let's use the elixir word before everyone gets tired of it and before they realise that it means sweet FA. But you know what? Boss have done well with their elixirs. Each one has been really good. I like the sweetness, I like the smokiness. I did wear this as a casual daytime fragrance, but I think I could quite easily wear this in the evenings as well. It's strong, I got great performance. It smells good. Everyone around you is going to enjoy the sweetness. It's got the depth to it. It's a little bit of an attention-grabbing type of fragrance. They did a really great job with this. If Boss want to bring more elixirs out that are of as good quality as the other elixirs, including this one, then why not? If it makes them create good fragrances, bring on more elixirs. This one is just a really nice, warm, spicy take on the scent DNA. It works really well for autumn. Didn't get a chance to wear it in autumn yet, so I will be giving this a bit of wear this season. Now, we have recently had a new Spice Bomb fragrance. That is not the one I'm talking about in this video. I was hoping it would be. I was hoping that I'd be able to talk about Spice Bomb Dark Leather, but unfortunately it just didn't do it for me. It wasn't dark enough, it wasn't leathery enough, and it wasn't spice bomby enough. So it is not the Spice Bomb that I will be choosing to wear this autumn. The one I'm choosing is Spice Bomb Infrared EDT. I thought this was a return to form after the Night Vision line, which strayed away from that Spice Bomb DNA. We get that original Spice Bomb DNA back here. Lots of that nice vanilla and spices, but this one adds a few little red berry type notes in it. When this was released, I liked it because it reminded me of the original Spice Bomb. That's great. It also had a little bit of Spice Bomb Extreme in there. I thought the quality was great, definitely at its heart a Spice Bomb fragrance. Performance was really good, just a little bit darker and perhaps a little smoother than the original Spice Bomb, but a little lighter and a little more playful than Extreme, which is the one I like to wear in winter. So this is my go-to autumn Spice Bomb fragrance. I do actually prefer this to the EDP. I did really enjoy that one, but that didn't have the spiciness of that Spice Bomb DNA, which I love so much. But this one does. This is a great Spice Bomb for the autumn. And let's hope that Spice Bomb can right the wrongs of dark leather. It's not a bad fragrance at all, but it just didn't do what I wanted it to do, what I thought a fragrance that was called dark would do. It just wasn't dark and complex enough. Maybe next autumn they will come out with Spice Bomb Dark Leather Parfum and they can do everything with that fragrance that I feel like they should have done with this one. The next fragrance is from Givenchy, and I was really torn about which one to include in this video. You know, I mentioned Booze. Reserve Privé is a beautiful scent. It is powdery iris, it's got whiskey, but I think I have included that in my last couple of autumn designer videos, so I thought I'd go different this year. Society Extreme, just as appropriate for autumn. It's got the strength that Reserve Privé has. Actually, it's perhaps a little louder in its projection than Reserve Privé, but it's still got that really nice powdery iris. This has got a little bit of coffee in there, so it darkens things up a bit, gives it a little bit of depth. The original Society, I was a little meh about. It was okay, but it didn't seem like it had much character. It wasn't very distinctive. Very surprised when I smelled this one because instantly loved it. It's a nice full scent. It's got character. It's got a fun element. It's got some sophistication. It ticks a lot of boxes, and because of the strength of this, it will work really well in the autumn. Again, not had a chance to wear this in the autumn yet. Now's the time.
If you love fragrance as much as I do, head over to my online store, luxparfum.co.uk. You'll find my favourite brands, plus brands you can't find anywhere else in the UK. Link is in the description.
Another surprise release for me this year was the latest from Mugler. This is Amen Phantasm. Kind of along the same lines as the original Amen, but a little bit less of that coffee element and a little bit more of the dark chocolate. Bit of a funny one, the Amen line at the moment, because the only one that you can currently buy that is still in production is the original Amen, and this is another version of that. It smells very similar to the original Amen. All those beauties that I used to include in autumn videos, like Pure Malt, Pure Havane, which I don't anymore because they're discontinued, and I don't really want to put discontinued fragrances in a video. Maybe they'll be in my Autumn All-Stars video. So to come out with a flanker that is very reminiscent of the original, a little bit of a strange move. Who knows what we've got coming down the line. Could have been interesting if they'd have done something completely different to the original, but I was pleasantly surprised. This is good, it's strong. I've worn this quite a few times. I wore it again recently, just a couple of days ago, and I was reminded of how nice this smells. It is such a pleasant smell. I feel like I'm slightly underselling it saying that. No, it's more than just pleasant. This was an excellent smell. Really enjoyed wearing it. It's loud enough, it's dense enough, it's rich enough to be able to wear in the autumn, and I think it is going to shine as the temperatures get cooler and those leaves start to fall. So many surprises. This one was another surprise because Armani cannot decide what they want their bottles to look like, what fragrances they want in their lineup. We have a new version of Armani Code EDP. As you can see, this one is in the new style bottle that Armani Code Parfum came in. This is better than Parfum. Seems like Armani are moving away from their very distinctive curved shaped bottle, which I really liked. You can throw these really nicely in the air. These, not quite so much, so that is one downside to the bottle. The other interesting thing with this is it's a completely different fragrance to the old Code EDP. What they seem to have done with this one is you've got the same Code citrus powdery character, but this one smells very much like the bottle that I was just tossing around, Armani Code Profumo, the much loved, sadly now discontinued Profumo. And I mean, just look at that bottle. That bottle just screams autumn with its copper cap and brown glass. So an interesting move. This one has that leathery root beer quality that Profumo has. It's a little lighter, a little brighter in its citrus. It's maybe a little powdery, but it's done really well, and particularly in the dry down really reminds me of Profumo. So if you never got a chance to pick up Profumo and you always wanted to smell it, then give this one a sniff. If you've already got the older EDP that was in this shaped bottle, it smells completely different to that, so I don't think it would be redundant to have this new EDP. If you've got Profumo already, maybe you don't need this new version of the EDP, but if you don't have Profumo and you always fancied it, then this would be a good one to go for. It's got great depth, a little hint of that leather that Profumo has, although leather isn't listed in the notes of this one, but I feel like it's still in there. That just makes it even more autumn appropriate in my opinion. Good release. Not sure if I've included this in my last couple of autumn designer videos, but I just saw it on my shelf and I couldn't not include it because I felt like I've not worn it in a little while and I feel like really giving it some good wear this autumn. Aaro's Wanted by Night. I know they're a warm and spicy, autumnal appropriate scent, but this one is a big old cinnamon bomb. This is such a good autumn fragrance. It's got a comforting element because of the warm spiciness, but it's fun and it's playful. If you wore this in a bar, in a club, it's loud enough to get noticed. It's gonna cut through most other smells. If you like other people to notice your fragrance and mention that to you, I think we call that something like a compliment. Now that's a good idea to include in YouTube videos, but if you like that sort of thing, then this is going to do it for you. Great release from Aaro. I still think, for me, this is the best in the Aaro Wanted lineup. Continuing the spicy theme, this is Dior's spicy take on Sauvage Elixir. Bit of the clean soapiness from Sauvage, but it dials up the lavender so it's much more aromatic. It's not quite as ambroxan heavy as the original. Smells quite different, but loads of lovely warming autumnal spices. Absolute beast of a fragrance. This smells so good. I didn't expect it to smell as good as this when it was released. I thought it would just be another version of the Sauvage DNA, which the EDT, the EDP and the Parfum were, but this goes a completely different route. So many people love this scent because it's so attention grabbing, but I can see why a few people say they don't like this scent. They find it a little bit abrasive, a little bit obnoxious. I get that. If you overspray this scent, then it can become like that. So you've just got to be careful. You've got to be quite easy on the trigger with this. Just, I don't know, 3 or 4 sprays, that should do it. I know we want to get noticed with our fragrances, but you don't want to full-on assault of people's nostrils. I love that this has a bit of a classical masculine gentleman's cologne type of vibe to it. Gives it a refinement and a sophistication. It could be the lavender that's doing that, but the spices and a bit of the Sauvage soapiness bring it all the way up to date. So this is modern meets classic. Really great scent from Dior. Has the Dior quality. Paved the way for all the elixirs, but I still think of all the elixirs, this is still the best one. For the final fragrance in this video, I'm going with a Tom Ford, and I was really hoping it would be Tom Ford's Eau d'Ombre leather, but it isn't, because I think this fragrance is better. This is a better version of a leather fragrance. And in the last few designer videos, I've gone with ombre leather. I think I've even gone with ombre leather parfum, both great fragrances. Unfortunately, Eau d'Ombre leather didn't impress me as much as the other ombre leathers. I liked it, but I don't like it anywhere near as much as I like Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. Game-changing, iconic fragrance from Tom Ford. This became an icon because of the way its DNA changed the game so dramatically. Raspberry, saffron, leather, classic combo that so many other fragrances have tried to emulate, including ombre leather, which has a similar type of smell, but a little more rounded, a little easier to wear, a bit more mass appealing. It was the version of Tuscan leather that more people could enjoy. But making it more mass appealing, I think, makes it lose some of what is so good about Tuscan leather. This one is bold. It's a badass fragrance. It's not for everyone. It's not for my wife. She told me she didn't like it, but it doesn't stop me from wearing it. I think I featured this in my very first autumn fragrance recommendations video, which was way back in 2017. I love it now as much as I loved it then. I just find it so, It's so intoxicating, it's so strong and confidence inspiring. Everything that I love so much about this scent is pretty much all the reasons why I was just slightly underwhelmed with Eau d'Ombre leather, because it didn't have the boldness, it didn't have the strength of character, it didn't have the distinctive quality that fragrances like this one have. I'm not going to say I'm in the mood for wearing this all the time, every day, but when I want something that is bold, when I'm in that kind of mood, Tuscan leather will never disappoint. And autumn for me, best time to wear it. There you go. Nice mix of new and old. These are some of the absolute best autumn fragrances. I'm going to be wearing these through the autumn. What do you think of my choices? Are there any on this list that you hate, that you wouldn't have put on this list? And have I missed any out? Do you think Spice Bomb Dark Leather and Tom Ford's Eau d'Ombre leather should be on this list? Let me know in the comments. I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you do all that, you'll see me in the next video. Have a great autumn.